it's Ronnie, and welcome to Simple Stories Saturday, a scrapbooking collaboration and YouTube hot hosted by Joanne Bartel. And we will all be using our simple stories. I'm going to scrap that photo of Malachi. I am going to use the fishnet die and the fishing pole. And then I'm using Simple Storage Vintage Lakeside. And I have the paper pad from The Great Escape. And these are some really old alphas from Simple Stories. And I'm going to use them instead of the ones that's in the sticker sheet booklet. It was before the book. It's when they just had sheets and some of the papers. And that paper there that's a wood grain that's kind of a pink color, pinkish red almost. It is Simple Stories wood grain and gingham. I'm starting out with, what is it? Something bow. uh, it's a light green, and I'm putting it on there. And the other inks that I'm using are Stormy Skies, um, Forest Woodland, I believe, Peeled Paint, and Wild Honey. And I'm just going to put them, oh, and Pumice Stone. And I'm just going to put them on here kind of randomly. Wherever I take a notion to put that color, I put it with no rhyme or reason to it. And I am leaving kind of spots between some of the colors. I put the really light green pretty much over the whole thing except that one spot. And that's where I plan on putting my photo. I um, I'm going to spray it when I get done putting all this on here with just some water over the whole thing. And then I'm going to do my packaging. And the spraying is just going to kind of help everything blend together. And then my packaging, when I put that on, the ink on there, I'm spraying it too so it's more liquid. And this is watercolor paper because I knew I planned on putting more water on here than sometimes. This is the darkest color I think I'm using, that's a green, and that's the Forest Woodland. Yeah, that's right, the Forest Woodland. And I'm just doing the packaging technique like I said. And then I'm going to use the Wild Honey and do the same thing so it adds another color here to it also. And the stenciling I'm doing next. I have several stencils out. That one that's got the circle things on it is from 13 at Arts. That's what it is. I want to say P13 every time, but it's 13 at Arts. And that bigger circle one has a radar. That is radar, and it's by Craft Treat. I think it might be like an off-brand, but I really like the radar thing. And this one here is well, I had the paper out. Well, it's laying there right there to the left. She has like an Italian name. It's hers anyway. If anybody needs to know, ask down there at the bottom, and I will make sure I will put the reply to it with the what its actual name is, or who it's by anyway. And then that last one was Tim Holtz. Now I'm going to do some stamping. So I am doing several layers on here, and I like that. It's kind of grungy looking, and I do like grungy looking, especially with mixed media. And I like a lot of layers sometimes. Sometimes I don't want as much. Sometimes splatters is all I want. But this time I wanted to have quite a bit on there. The Tim Holtz stamps, I didn't put them on acrylic block because I thought, well, if it don't all show up, that's fine. It is mixed media, and that's one thing I like about mixed media. It don't have to be perfect, and it still looks good because it kind of reminds me of graffiti in a way. And so some graffiti turns out really good, the street artist kind. and I like that. And they may not do all of it. They might only do part of it and then start something else right in the same spot. Or it could be someone comes along and does it. I don't know, but sometimes I like looking at the wall art and seeing all the different details in there. I cut the wood grain paper. Well, there is, I think there's a pinker one in that paper pad, but this one is kind of like a dark pink. And if you look at the photo, I believe the rowboat probably started out red at one time, but it's set outside and it's turned kind of a rustic looking pink. And when I saw this paper, when I was looking through there to find something to use, because there is wood grain in there, I seen this and I thought, oh, that reminds me of that rowboat. Let me check and see how it looks. Well, it looked pretty good. So I decided to use it. Now, the two papers that I am matting my photo on, I believe they're from the Great Escape, but it goes really well with this collection. And that's all I had from it. And I did distress and ink them. And oh, I did not even realize that I didn't gut it. And, I wanted to save it. Well, it looks like I won't be because I forgot. And anyway, I decided to use tea dye ink on the distressing on it and everything else. The wood grain paper has tea dye on it, and so does the banners. And so I've got a lot of different inks on this layout. I really considered using green because, I really like green, but I decided that the tea dye would work better for what I was wanting on the layout. I wanted them to show up just, a little more and pop out from the background. I did put the photo up on foam tape, and I'm going to add some greenery to the left of it. I've got some of those uh, mushrooms. Yeah, I picked out some things that I wanted to use from the ephemera. And, I'm going to forget all about the sticker sheet. I am so bad about forgetting that sticker sheet. I guess I could pull them out and put them on wax paper or use the powder thing on there and go ahead and stick them down myself. Yeah, I might have to do that to remember to use them because that sticker sheet did have quite a few things on there that I liked. The greenery, I forgot to show the die for it. It is Tim Holtz. And the one I have is the Sizzlets, the 12-inch thing. But you can get the same greenery in a thinlit one. And I think they're called garden greenery. And I cut some out in a lighter green and then a darker green. I didn't have too much of that darker green. It was a scrap. So there isn't going to be much of it on here. But I did have a little more of the lighter green. My fishnet, I cut two out thinking I was going to use the whole two because last time I only cut one out. And I was thinking, boy, I should go cut another one out and use a little bit right here. Well, I used like half of one. That's it. And it's going to go to, there on the bottom right hand side of the photo. And that's it. That's the only place I'm putting the fishnet. Now, I cut out layers for this fishing pole. And see that wood grain one there laying on the bottom that I'm not using at the moment? Oh, I'm going to forget about it. I'm not going to notice it there. And I'm thinking, man, maybe I will not use brown again on here because for some reason it's not looking like I had in my mind. And I will see it later and I will cut it apart and I will put it on there. However, it probably would look better if I'd layered it as intended. But yeah, I'm going to forget all about it. But I did remember the gel pen. So I do have some highlights on there. Malachi is not fishing, but he is standing on the edge of the water. And I do know that Jason and Amber Jane are over in rowboats in the water, but he is left on shore. And he's either applauding them for their job well done, getting in the little kayaks and going across there, or wiping mud off his hands, maybe. I'm not sure. But when I looked at him, my thought was, like on those cartoons where the evil villain would rub his hands together and, make some comment. And so my title's going to be Explore the Outdoors. And then it says, I love it when a plan comes together. And so, yeah, it's because of the thought that went through my mind when I was looking at Malachi. I decided to go ahead and add some greenery to my fishnet um, because, there are plants that grow up on underneath the water. And I'm going to add a flower there too because there are plants like lily pads that come up out of the water that have flowers. However, this is not going to look nothing like a lily pad. I cut several of the mushrooms out, and there was one that's really tall and skinny, and I think that is just so cute. And so I had to make sure I used it, but I used a fatter one also. And then I'm going to use one in the bottom right hand corner too. So I cut an extra one out, but it's not going to make it on my layout. Oh, I'm doing the title now. Like I said, I used the foam stickers from the collection, but then the rest of the title is back when Simple Stories had those sheets, like I think it was 8 sheets, and they would have alphas on a couple of them. And there was some in the sticker sheet, but they weren't the colors that I wanted, so I dug these out instead. And I did ink everything in the tea dye ink. And while I'm adding all this stuff onto the layout, I want to mention that down there below, you will find links to everyone's channels that are doing the Simple Story Saturday today. So there will be quite a few down there. Well, there's 11 in the group. So there will be 11 links down there and plenty of ideas for using your simple stories. And I'm going to have another Simple Stories layout tomorrow. So, yeah, I have another one done with Simple Stories, and I probably did it 2 months ago and finally got the voiceover done. So, yeah, it will be tomorrow. Don't you all just love the Simple Storage Vintage collections? I do. I think they're just gorgeous. But the layout tomorrow is not one of the vintage ones. So, but yeah, I love the other collections too. So, um, yeah, it's a boy layout. This one is a boy layout too. I'm making a little cluster up in the upper right. I put that one bigger circle with the stencil up there, planning on putting something in that corner because, I like to do 3 kind of cluster areas. And I almost put it over a little bit too far, but I like it the way it ended up coming out. So I do have one of the tree rings there, and it says, leave the road, take the trails. And my one on the bottom says, nature is all you need. But I don't think he had much chance to leave the road and take the trails. I think they had a pretty good eye on him and made sure he couldn't explore that much. That boy's got a birthday coming up, and I still don't have all the photos scrapped from his first birthday. But yeah, he turns 2 in September. But while I was talking, I did use my EK Success punch and punched out some flowers with, it's kind of a very small plaid gingham kind of paper. Maybe it just has a grid on it. I think that's what it had. I think it had a colorful grid on it. But I used them for the flowers. But that's it. That's my layout. And I had fun creating it and making the background for it. And if you leave a comment down there below, I'll try to get back with you. And if you like the video and hit a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you subscribe. And those of you already are, thank you so very much. And thank you all for watching my video today. I appreciate that too, because I know you could be watching so many others. And thank you all for the comments that you leave. They really make my day. But I hope you all have a happy, scrappy week, that you have fun on the hop, and get some ideas for using your simple stories and pull them out and create a layout. But yeah, bye.